Hello everybody and welcome back to this year's first 2024 Power Rankings. Now, I know last year I kind of disappeared. It's because I moved and then I dropped the board on the floor and it was a huge disaster. So this year we're starting new. The kickoff 2024 with the worst team I think that everyone agrees on so far are the Chicago White Sox. They're 1-8. So not a great start for the White Sox. Honestly, I don't know. It's crazy how bad they just all of a sudden became. I predicted this a couple of years ago, but I think there'll be a documentary coming out explaining what happened in that clubhouse because no one understands how they had all that talent and then went away. So, anyways, the worst team to start 2024 is clearly the White Sox. At 1-9, the Miami Marlins. Very disappointing since I was really rooting for them last year, and this is one of those starts where I don't know. I really don't know if you can come back from a 1-9 start when your team's already like a kind of like a grind, like I don't know, like an 84 win team. So those are crucial games you just kind of let float away. And also no Sandy, no Yuri, and no, is it just those two? I thought they were missing one more pitcher. But anyways, they're down bad. So hopefully the Marlins can figure it out. But especially since they made some signings in the offseason, they got Tim Henderson. But yeah, not looking good for the Marlins. Right now they're at 29. With the 2-8 start are the Rockies. Now, they actually did almost win a great game against the Rays, and then they did win a great game against the Rays. But, the Rockies, though, I don't see them ever, prediction right now. I know I control the board, so it's not fair, but I don't see them ever getting out of the bottom row. They're just going to be down there for years to come because they really do nothing. So if you're a Rockies fan, I deeply, sincerely apologize because this franchise makes no sense to me, and I think they're like kind of remind me of what's the other franchise everyone hates? The Oakland A's. Like they're like the Oakland A's. Someone needs to get ownership out of there and get someone who actually cares about baseball because 2-8 Rockies, they looked like there's going to be a 65-70 win team. 70's generous. All right, starting off 3-7 are the Oakland A's or the Sacramento A's or the Las Vegas A's, whatever they are. They're 3-7, not a terrible start. So I have them at 27. I think the ceiling for them is like 65 wins, but respect a good start. You'll see on this board that some teams that are expected to be good are punished, and teams that had great starts are rewarded because some, teams like, I don't know, KC, the Royals, I don't know how often they're going to be having a great start like this, so I want to reward them now because I don't want to ruin their chances of ever getting up here again. So they're a little higher on the board today compared to a team like the Mariners or something who had a disappointing start. All right, starting off 3-6 are the Mets, and they're at 26. Now the Mets did not start off hot. I think they were 0-4, 0-5 to start. So they started playing well. I think if you're a Mets fan, you're disappointed. So I did put them at 26. I don't expect them to be down here very long. They're just too talented to stay that low. But like I said, I'm kind of being harsher on the teams. I had higher expectations heading into the season than I would maybe on a team like the Rockies or the Nationals, who everyone expects to be kind of rebuilding still. So that is why the Mets are at 26. Also with the 3-6 start are the Washington Nationals. Now, that's probably, as expected. But they did play fairly well. They had some close games they lost, they had some close games they won. So I put them at 25. I think this team is, a couple of years away from being another playoff contender. I don't think next year they're going to be there, but I think 2-3 years we could see this team really make some big leaps. But yeah, decent start for the Nationals. I have them at 25. Number 24 are the Astros. Kind of a brutal start for the Astros. 3-7, not where you want to be. They had a no-hitter and almost another no-hitter. But yeah, not a great start for the Houston Astros. Again, they're probably going to end up in the ALCS like always, but I did want to be harsher on them because, a team that just went to the ALCS and is like a 90-95 win team shouldn't start off 3-7, especially with those bad, ugly losses. So right now I have them at 24. Coming in at 23 are the Giants. So the Giants are 4-6. It could have been better, but also could have been worse. They had some games they almost lost, and the games they maybe should have won. Not a terrible start for the Giants. I think this is a decent starting off point, I think, for the Giants, because, again, not a lot of people saw them as playoff contenders until they made all those signings. So we'll see how that shapes out. I think the rotation is still their biggest question. But so far, Jordan Hicks looks good. So I think Giants fans can be a little optimistic, but right now I have them at 23. All right, at 22 with the 4-5 start, the Phillies. This is an example of the teams I said I was going to be harsh on because, again, this is a team that is expected to be in the playoffs and make a playoff run. And starting off this poorly, especially with the games they lost that they should have won, I think it's fair to say that Phillies fans are not very happy with their performance so far. So I have them low right now, but I don't expect them to stay down here. They're a good team. But like I said, I'm a little harsher on the better teams this week. Like I saw on MLB did their power rankings. It was ridiculous how some teams that had really good starts are still 20. So again, mine's a week by week. power rankings, it isn't like where I think they are based on the roster. It's how they're playing. So if you played bad the first week, you're not going to be high on the board. So, but anyways, I have Phillies at 22. All right, at 21 are the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners, another team that had a poor start. Again, playoff aspirations. Have a good roster. They did not have a hot start like everyone expected them maybe to. Again, not the worst start in the world. They weren't like the Astros are clearly an example of a pretty bad start, but I think Mariners fans expect them to be in a better spot, so that is why I have them at 21. All right, at number 20 are the Minnesota Twins. My team, I think they're 3-4 to start. I'm conflicted on them because they can't hit, which was the same story as last year, and they can pitch still, which is good because the pitching was the question mark. So far, pitching has looked well, other than Bailey over, and hitting's been awful, which is the same story as last year. Although Correa's hitting well, Royce is gone, so I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but again, they didn't play well. They have not hit at all, so I have them at 20. And honestly, between the Phillies, Mariners, and Twins, you could flip them all around, and they all those spots would be acceptable because all three of those teams have really underperformed. All right, coming at 19 are the 4-6 Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, another team that have not been playing well. They did not start well. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is 4-6 a bad record to start the year? No. But when you're one of these four teams, or including the Astros, 5 teams that everyone expects to be in the playoffs, and you start 4-6, especially when you lose games you should have won, it just doesn't sit well with people, and that's why I have them at 19. But again, even with the Blue Jays, like all these teams, you could just like flip around because they've all had kind of the same start, like 1 or 2 games below 500, where they should be better. Especially like the Twins played weaker teams, they should be winning those games, but they're not. All right, number 18 are the St. Louis Cardinals. They started off, I shouldn't say started off, they started off fine. They're 5-5. This team is expected to make a rebound after a horrible year last year. I think they got last in the division, so they're looking to have a bounce back year. 5-5 isn't a horrible start. The only thing is that the NL Central looks great right now. So I'm assuming it's going to fizzle out eventually. Hopefully the Pirates and the Reds are on top, but the Brewers also look nasty. And the Cubs, I don't know, that whole division is just like everyone always dogs on the Central teams, but so far in NL Central, after the first week and a half, looks pretty scary. So the Cardinals are at 5-5, and I have them at 18. All right, number 17 are the San Diego Padres. So the Padres and Dodgers were harder to rank because they played like 3 more games than everyone else. So, I don't know. I put them at 17. You could honestly put them lower. I don't think they deserve to be any higher. This is the highest I would put them. But yeah, the Padres, they looked okay. I mean, very similar to last year in my opinion. So yeah, the Padres, I don't know. I think they'll get figured out. I still think they're a team that could be favored to make the playoffs. So yeah, like a decent start. Have them at 17, but I think they need to play a little bit better. All right, coming in at number 16 are the Kansas City Royals. So debatably should be higher because they did play the Twins, Orioles, and White Sox. They pummeled the White Sox. I think they took maybe 2 of 3 against the Orioles, and then 1 against the Twins. They've looked decent. The pitching has been great. Singer, Reagans, Waka, and Lugo have all been great. So their rotation, if it stays the way they started, could be pretty nasty. Their lineup's still kind of meh, but so far they've looked decent. 6-4 is not a bad start for them. I look forward to watching them more, and hopefully they don't threaten my Twins too much, but they have looked pretty good. All right, coming at number 15 are the LA Angels. So the Angels actually look decent. Now, remember last year they started off really well also, and then they fell apart. But they've won some good games. They played some tough teams, and they had a decent start. So I have them at 15. I'm hoping the Angels can figure it out because they've been a laughingstock for a while now. But the Angels are a fun team. I can't remember even. It's hard to remember a time when they were like, I was scared of them as a Twins fan. It was back when they had Hunter, so it's been a while. So yeah, hopefully the Angels, I want some new faces to emerge in the playoff race. I know we saw it last year with Miami and the Twins getting back in finally, but I think we need some more. Angels would be nice if they could take out the Astros or something, but I don't really see it happening. But again, I can hope. So right now I have them at 15. All right, the number 14 are the 6-3 Tigers. The Tigers also look good. Now, honestly, I might even take the Royals over the Tigers right now, just thinking about it now. But they're both in a very similar spot. They played better than expected, and they've looked good. I think, honestly, I think maybe I should flip the Tigers or Royals, but I'm going to leave it the way it is. Tigers are 6-3. They've had a good start. I don't have as much faith in the rotation as I do the Royals and the lineup. I also have more faith in the Royals lineup. But, again, the Tigers have looked well, and I'm excited to see where they go. But honestly, I know people were talking about the Tigers threatening the Twins for the Central. I think it might end up being the Royals. I know it's not going to be the White Sox, though, and the Guardians lost Bieber, so we'll see. But right now, Had the Tigers at 14 again. Tigers look good. They could easily, I think, be over 500 this year. All right, number 13 are the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, the Diamondbacks, for a second here, I thought we were going to be like 2 or 3 on the board. Because it looked like they're going to sweep Atlanta. And they blew every game. So, unfortunately for them, they got dogged all the way down to 13. They're 4-6. I think they could be like 6-2 or something, but or 6-4 or 7-3 or whatever. But they blew all those games in Atlanta, which is, I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like Atlanta had to remind them who the big dogs are, and Arizona took it on the chin. Hopefully they can rebound, but yeah, not a good look when you get blow all your games against Atlanta. So, anyways, though, they are at 13. Hopefully they can get back up to the top of the board. I do have faith in them. They did look good. They just had a couple problems closing out Atlanta. All right, number 12 are the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds look pretty much the same as last year. A good, young, new, energetic team. I think they were 82-80 last year, so they had a good year. I think they're going to win more games this year. I just hate talking about the Reds because all I think about is Spencer Steer and Encarnacio Strand being traded for Tyler Mahle, which is so might be the worst trade in history. One of the worst trades in history. Definitely the worst trade in Twins history. I will never understand that trade. So I don't really even want to talk about the Reds because I'm still salty about it. But the Reds do look pretty good. They started the year. I think they won 2 against Phillies, so they played some hard teams. They won some good games, and I have them at 12. All right, to start the year at 11 are the 5-5 Tampa Bay Rays. Now they've looked hot and cold, but honestly, I think this year we see some regression from the Rays. I think they've lost too much, and I think this team is gonna finally start to need the. I know they lost Wander Franco, but I think this team is starting to need new faces to continue their dominance because I think right now they don't look as scary as they usually do. So I still think they're going to win somewhere in the 80 game range, but I don't see them winning 90 something games this year. But yeah, a decent start for the Rays, but I think they're starting to they're going to need to start to add new talent because right now I think they're kind of returned to like an 85, 87 win team. We'll see. Hopefully they prove me wrong, but that's what I see with the Rays right now. So right now I have them at 11. All right, number 10 are the 7-3 White Sox. The Red Sox. The White Sox are down here. So Red Sox fans, I apologize. I shouldn't even compare you guys because the White Sox are just an embarrassment. But yeah, the Red Sox actually had a pretty good start. Now I was worried at first, but they've really, I don't know, they've surprised me. I know Trevor Story's gone, and Giolito's gone, which honestly might be a blessing because he's just like a home run machine. But yeah, they came out swinging strong. Tyler O'Neill, I think, leads MLB in OPS, so they've looked well. They looked They looked good. 7-3 start. Have them at 10. Hopefully this is sustainable. Again, AL East is a very hard division. We'll see if their pitching can keep standing up to these teams. But right now, I have them at 10, and they started the year pretty strong. All right, at number 9 are the 5-4 Orioles. The Orioles look actually really good. They just lost a couple of games I should have won against the Pirates and the Royals. But the Orioles do look really good. They're not only do they look really good, but their minor league player stats are just absolutely insane. This team could, if they wanted to, if management wanted to, this could be one of the best teams in MLB, probably MLB history. They're just so nasty. Hopefully they spend money on all these kids because they are gross. Now they started off not as well as they could have, but they look very good. So the Orioles, everyone watch out. All right, number 8 are the Cleveland Guardians, starting off 7-2. They lost Bieber. They've honestly lost a lot of pitching this year, so I don't know how much they'll be able to stay up here. That's why, like I said, I want to reward these teams early because I don't know how much longer they can sustain the success. But I think they have the highest run differential in the MLB. They've looked pretty good, which is always a classic Guardians thing. I was actually, as a Twins fan, without Terry Francona, they're going to kind of... But new management, I think Stephen Vogt, still, the team has been doing great. So, 7-2 start. As a Twins fan, hopefully that doesn't last because the Guardians are the teams we can never win recently against. So, but 7-2 start, wanted to reward them, so right now they're at 8. All right, number 7, and I'm wearing their hat, are the 8-2 Pirates. The Pirates look good. I think they got to call it Paul Skeens because they started off 22-8, something ridiculous last year. So it was 22-8, 22-10 or something. And then they kind of, so they need to keep their team, that spark with their team. I know last year, the last O'Neill Cruz, when he snapped his shin or something. They need to keep this young, energetic spark they have going with them. So adding Paul Skeens to that would keep that team like keep that spark alive, keep that young energy alive, that excitement. And so I think if they bring up Paulskins, I don't honestly. I know people want to bring him up now, but maybe you wait until you start and then you can re-spark the team because if you bring it up now, it might be too early. I don't know. That's me getting in my own head though. But yeah, the Pirates look good, and I hope them and the Reds can be the top dogs of that division. But we'll see what the Brewers have to say about that. But right now, have them at 7. Oh yeah, number 6, I have the 8-4 Dodgers, and the Dodgers look fine. I mean, 8-4, good start. Like I said, it's hard to grade the Dodgers, grade everyone else because they played 3 more games than everyone else. But an 8-4 is a good record. I was debating having them a little bit higher, but I put them at 6. So we'll see what they can do this upcoming week. But the Dodgers have looked good. I really don't think Dodgers fans have anything to worry about. So right now I have them at 6, and we'll see what they can continue to do. At number 5 are the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers look kind of nasty right now. Yelich has been great. So if this lineup can continue to rake like they have been, this team could be in a really good spot because their pitching, the rotation is a giant question mark, but everyone was worried about their lineup too, and their lineup has been banging. So we'll see what the Brewers can sustain the success, but they've looked fairly well. They've looked pretty good. So we'll see if the Brewers continue the mash, but Yelich has looked really well. So I think if you're a Brewers fan, you can be happy about that. So right now I have them at 5, and we'll see where they end up. Coming in at number 4 are the Chicago Cubs. Now the Cubs have also looked good. They just took 2 or 3 from the Dodgers. The Cubs, I think, again, another team everyone had question marks about, and so far they come out of the gates playing really well. So they've been playing stronger teams as well, and they've performed, I think, above standard to most. So we'll see if this success can continue. I think Seiya Suzuki's off to a really hard start. The team has looked good, and we'll see where they're at. But I think 4 is a good spot for them because they have looked better than a lot of teams. They look better than a lot of people expected them to be to start the year. All right, 3rd on the power rankings are the Atlanta Braves. Now the Braves, you could argue they could be higher. They've looked really well. It's comebacks against Diamondbacks, NL pennant winners. Very, very good. So the Braves are still scary. I think they're still the best team in the National League. Next 2 teams are American League, so that does reflect this. They are the best team in the National League, in my opinion. They haven't really lost a step, although they lost Strider, but honestly, their team is so good, I don't see that really being a huge... I mean, it might make them lose 1 or 2 more games, but that doesn't really change anything. I think this team's going to win the East in the National League, so look out for the Braves. They're still such a nasty team. We'll see what they can do. All right, coming in at number 2 are the Texas Rangers. Now, I had them at 1 up until yesterday because they're the defending World Series champions. There seems to be no World Series hangover. I really thought I was just keeping them at 1, but another team beat them out, unfortunately. But the Rangers have looked really well. I keep saying really well. The Rangers have looked fantastic. How about that word? Fantastic to start the year. World Series, I know people would World Series hangover could happen. They're not going to be as good. But so far, they've looked just as good, if not better. So I think the Rangers fans, you can take a deep breath and expect playoffs again. And expect maybe even going for the division title, which I think Rangers could easily do. So anyways, though, Rangers have started off good. Have them at 2. You could argue 1, but right now we'll get to number 1. Number 1 are the New York Yankees, which I'm a Twins fan, so that brings me absolutely no pleasure to say, but respect game. And the Yankees have looked really good. I would not want to play them right now. I'm happy the Twins don't play them in April. I think they don't play them in April this year, fingers crossed, because they look nasty right now. Juan Soto looks good, even though, I don't know, the Soto shuffle gets to me. I'm kind of a hater, but Soto looks good. Even without Cole, this looks so good. They absolutely handled Houston in the opening series. So, the Yankees look really well right now. They're scary. Really well. Stop saying that. The Yankees look really good right now. I would not want to play them. I think right now they are probably the hottest team in the MLB right now. Their young guys are hitting. So, yeah. Yankees look really scary. So, right now I have my number 1. But let me know what you guys think. This is week 1, Power Rankings, week 1.5, whatever you want to say. I'll be back next Monday morning to post the next week's Power Rankings, but let me know what I got right and wrong, and I'll work on not saying really well every 20 seconds. But right now, this is the first week's Power Rankings. I'll see you guys next week.